Don't join consulting until you know what you're really signing up for. Consulting is elite training, but it comes with extreme costs, and no one really tells you what you are trading for that shiny exit opportunity. I've worked at 4 consulting firms, from boutique, Big Four to strategy firms, over nearly a decade. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the truth behind the title. In this video, we'll cover what consulting really is and how most people get it wrong. The struggles from daily pressure, long hours, and the hidden trade-off. And the unspoken reality you only learn the hard way. By the end, you know exactly whether consulting is right for you. And on top of that, I'll share a simple 3 questions, my litmus test that I use after 10 years in this business to decide if someone's really cut out for consulting. Let's break it all down. When people say I want to go into consulting, I always ask which kind, because this isn't one job, it's a zoo. Tier 1 firms, the so-called MBB, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, they live in the cloud, advising CEOs on billion-euro strategies. Tier 2 firms like Oliver Wyman, Strategy and Roland Berger, similar work, slightly different access, often working at VP level. Big 4, heavily on operation, change management. Boutiques, focus, specialized, sometimes brilliant, but with less structure and support. What your day actually looks like in consulting depends massively on the kind of firm you join. At MBB, you're flying high with a strategy sprints for the C-suite. At a Big 4 firm like Deloitte, you're deep in implementation and ops. At a boutique, it might be all hands on deck with fewer resources but more ownership. The difference is real and huge. If you are chasing consulting as one thing, you could land in the wrong type of firm and find yourself overwhelmed, misaligned, and exhausted fast. As a consultant, one week you're helping a band expand in the Nordics. Next week, you're troubleshooting a potato chip supply chain in Poland. It sounds exciting until you realize you're always the new guy, new client, new team, new rules, new city. No rhythm, no roots, no routine. I remember building real momentum with a client, finally earning their trust, learning the politics, only to pulled out onto a crisis project 2 time zones away, no warning, no closure. At the time, I was just settling into an investment engagement when the phone rang on Friday night. Monday morning, I was in the other side of Sweden kicking off a corporate strategy project I barely read the brief for. If you crave consistency or long-term impact, consulting might just leave you feeling like you're stuck in perpetual motion. In consulting, you learn how to think in frameworks, structure problems, impress executive, build decks at lightning speed. But here's the catch. You rarely own anything. You drop your recommendations and bounce. You don't build, you don't execute, you don't live with the consequences. In startups or industry, own the outcome, even when it gets messy. In consulting, you often feel like a PowerPoint architect, not a builder.
So how many from consulting? Oh, that's bad.
I once delivered a full go-to-market strategy roadmap for an industrial client. They nodded, attended the joint workshop, thanked us for the final delivery, and happily paid the invoice. A year later, I ran into one of their people at an event. They completely changed course. None of our recommendations were implemented. If you're someone who wants to go deep, build something tangible, and see it through, consulting may leave you feeling a little hollow. And if you are starting to think maybe it's time for a change, I've got something for you. I'm planning to launch a free masterclass that breaks down exactly how to get out and accelerate your job hunt to land offers consistent. Comment masterclass below and I send you the sign up link. Here is the cold truth. Majority of consulting firms sell more work than they can staff, and you're the cushion. That means under-resourced teams, impossible deadlines, and rising expectations. Burnout almost baked into the business model. I've edited decks in taxis on the way to clients, taken client calls from beaches during vacation, worked 16 hours a day only to hear, let's redo everything before tomorrow's meeting. I once logged 91 billable hours in a single week. That's over 13 hours a day, every day, including Sunday. My wife thought I was traveling. And the worst part, everyone treats this like it's normal. Honestly, consulting is a volatile business. And the truth is, you're paid extra in order to absorb these workload surges. So, ask yourself honestly, can you perform under constant pressure with little control over your schedule? Because in consulting, that is not the exception. It's the norm. This part still stinks. It's not always about how well you do the work. It's about how visible your work is. Back in the days, one of the partners I was working for once told me, in consulting, you need to figure out the politics and impression. It's a people business. Otherwise, consulting become a simple backstabbing game. That line stuck with me. And over time, I saw exactly what he meant. One time, I developed a killer proposal and supported day and night to land the client. The partner praised me privately, but I was so swamped with the follow-up works that I never asked him to document the praise. Not only it did not show up in my performance review, but another consultant who had supported me during the proposal development ended up getting the credit. And I learned it the hard way, that internal visibility often matters more than actual impact. And if you are not willing or able to play the game, your progress stalls, even if your work is stellar. In consulting, you'll be flooded with opportunities. Most of them are really just extra tasks. Guys, that's career growth. Early on, I said yes to everything. One project was pitched as transformational. Yeah, I transformed into someone who pulled weekly all-nighters. If you can't set boundaries, others will write your story for you. Learning to say no is hard, tricky, and need to be executed with grace. But in consulting, it's a survival skill. If you don't like writing, you might hate consulting. Slide decks, reports, emails, RFPs, you're not just solving problems, you're documenting everything. Some call it storytelling, others call it corporate journalism. You want to spend your days in exciting meetings, you'll spend them aligning text box in PowerPoint until your eyes blur at 1 a.m. In consulting on the surface, it's team lunches, mentorship, Friday drinks, project dinners in fancy restaurants. But underneath, up or out pressure, cutthroat competition, a culture that says if you leave, you're wasting your potential. The toxicity isn't loud, it's subtle, and by the time you notice it, you're already knee-deep. In one firm, I saw almost the entire cohort of first years quietly push out after year 2, not because they weren't smart, but because they hadn't networked enough with the right people. For some, it's fuel. For others, it's suffocating. You learn so much. It's great launchpad. Exit ops are amazing. I've heard it all. And in some ways, it's true. But I have also seen people stay too long, cling to prestige, lose their spark. And I've seen friends grind for years in the name of the exit, only to look up and realize they no longer knew what they wanted, just that they were tired. So here's my question to you. Are you chasing this job or chasing what you think it might lead to? Consulting is not evil. It's not a scam. It's just not for everyone. It teaches you how to think, it opens doors, it builds resilience, but it also costs you your time, your autonomy, sometimes even your identity. And here is my personal litmus test. Can you be a chameleon with no long-term ownership? Can you survive 60 to 80 hours a week with little control or clarity? Do you enjoy the game of constantly selling yourself internally and externally? If you hesitated on any of those, you might want to pause before diving in. Did this video make you rethink consulting or double down? Drop a comment. I want to hear your take. And if you want more behind the scenes truths from corporate world and accelerate your career weekly with me, hit that subscribe button. No fluff, no filters, just the real stories.